Hi everyone, today's video is going to be about bipolar 2 disorder, what it is, what classifies it, what it looks like for me, and how I manage it on a daily basis. So basically what I'm going to start out with is I've made a list here, and this is the diagnostic criteria for bipolar 2. So it's categorized by hypomania and a major depressive disorder episodes. And hypomania, a hypomanic episode constitutes the following: irritable mood, increased energy lasting longer than 4 days, inflated self-esteem, decreased need for sleep, 3 hours average, talkative, racing thoughts, distractibility, setting ambitious goals for social, work, school, sex, risky behavior, and uncharacteristic of the person, observable by others, no hospitalization is needed, and this is not attributed to drugs. So for a major depressive episode, depressed mood or loss of interest of pleasure for 2 weeks straight. Sad, empty, and hopeless. Weight loss or weight gain, increase or decrease in appetite, depending on the person. Given the situation, you can experience either or. Insomnia or hyperinsomnia daily. Psychomotor agitation and retardation. Fatigue, loss of energy. Can't concentrate and indecisive. Thoughts of death or suicidal ideation. Impairment of social occupational function. And this is also not attributed to drugs. So right now, I've been characterized as hypomanic with rapid cycling and characterized as severe bipolar 2 disorder. Fun stuff. Because there's like moderate, I don't know, I have the serious one. Like there's like 3 levels of it, and I'm severe. So that's always fun to know that you're on the end of the spectrum of how bad something can be. Some statistics about bipolar 2 disorder. 1/3 report suicide. 75% report having an anxiety disorder as well. And then I just got an updated number on this statistic. 48% have a substance use disorder, and 14% have eating disorders. Some bipolar behaviors that I wrote down that I engage in that could be red flags for me personally. If I'm in a manic episode, are sex, spending, tattoos, insomnia magnified, loss of concentration, fast talking, paranoia, shoplifting. And I didn't quite have time to finish my list because I also would have included my depressive signs, which will be lack of hygiene, so not showering, lack of sleep, not leaving my room, engaging in my eating disorder, things of that nature. So I went through extensive medical testing when I was admitted inpatient for my eating disorder, and that's when I was diagnosed as bipolar 2. So I did a rough chart of kind of how my bipolar cycle has looked over the last 17 years to show you guys. So this is pretty much my bipolar cycle for the last 17 years. So up top in pink is my manic, blue is my depressive. This is just over the span of 17 years, and I just guessed for overall each year what I felt I was overall for that year. Now, since I'm rapid cycling, I did it for the week. So this is Monday to Sunday, and we're not quite done with the week yet. So let me finish. No, I did this today. So this is up to date. So this is just my chart from Monday today being Friday. I'm up here. I'm manic today. But this is just how I've been rapid cycling since Monday. So as you can tell, I've been very up and down this week. And this is pretty much a standard rapid cycling chart for me. It varies from week to week, but it's pretty intense how it changes so drastically. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the medications that I'm taking for my bipolar 2 disorder. Right now, I'm on Vraylar and Cymbalta, and that seems to be managing my bipolar 2 fairly well. I'm still dealing really hard with the rapid cycling, and we're trying to get me in a good balance, and I have to kind of go back and forth between 4.5 to 3 milligrams, depending on how I'm doing from month to month. So we're doing a lot of playing around with the Vraylar, which the good thing about that is that medication has the ability to play around with it. I'm on the therapeutic dose of Cymbalta of 120 milligrams, so I can't necessarily go up much anymore with that. And I'm not sure if any of my medications are preventing me from losing weight, but I need to get labs done to check to make sure nothing's going on with my thyroid, because right now I have anorexia in partial remission because of my weight gain from when I was in partial hospitalization at EdCare over last summer. And I'm still trying to figure out a balance with that. And my psychiatrist suggested that I get lab work done to see if there's something going on with my body. And basically, I wasn't put on a trained and eating disorder trained dietitian meal plan schedule when I was at EdCare. And that's really unfortunate for me, because now it's led me to this place where I'm really vulnerable for a relapse with my eating disorder, and trying to balance the eating disorder and the bipolar 2 at the same time. It's like this teeter-totter between what is going to be affecting me more each day. I never know. The ed pretty much dominates me every day, but sometimes my bipolar, they're fighting each other head on, and it's stressful. And then you bring in my anxiety into that as well. And you bring the trauma into it. And it's just this explosion in my mind of trying to think clearly and accomplish simple tasks and make plans and develop healthy relationships and friendships and romantic relationships. And it leads me to be very insecure, and I feel very isolated a lot of the time. And it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting having bipolar 2. Because you never know what's around the corner for you. You never know what your mind's going to do, what kind of trick it's going to try to play on you. And I have a lot of distorted thoughts because of it. And it significantly impairs a lot of my past relationships because I misinterpret things a lot. That's been a huge problem for me in personal romantic relationships, is misinterpreting things or thinking they mean ill will towards me when they don't. And it's really hard when you let your partner know that you have bipolar 2, and some of the things that can happen during a hypomanic episode, you know, risky behavior. I read you my list: sex, spending, tattoos, insomnia, loss of concentration, fast talking, paranoia, and shoplifting. That when your partner is aware you have bipolar 2 and then you have a hypomanic episode and then they are confronted with that reality, it's very challenging. Same maybe with, they might not know how to handle you when you're in a depressive episode. So it's a challenge for the loved ones, and it's way worse for the person suffering, though. You always have to remember that. And it's not helpful to ask us things like, have you been taking your medication? Or why isn't your medication working? Or accuse us of overreacting or taking things too personal, or doing it again, or the worst thing you could do is call us crazy. There's just, it's such a complex disorder, and there's so much trial and error that goes into the medication process that people with bipolar 2 are known to go off their medications. The statistics are very high. I can't quote them directly, but the statistics are very high of people with bipolar 2 going off their medications and then suffering the consequences because their bipolar just runs rampant, and it's awful. I've been off my meds before. I've been guilty of it. I've done it quite a few times throughout the years, and one time I did it unwillingly because of a job loss, and it was a wild ride. I went off my medication when I was pregnant with my daughter, and it was a wild ride, and it's not something I suggest or recommend ever. It's very important to have medication stabilization when you have bipolar 2, and the stigma with that needs to go away. And psychotherapy is really important, and that's something that I've been lacking, and I need that back in my life. So I'm hoping that I can get back in and do the work to really get into my bipolar 2 and find the skills to cope so I'm not constantly on this medication battle. So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks.